Hello, and thank you for joining us for our webinar series, What's New with the USPS in 2018. My name is Liz Freyer, and I'll be your moderator this morning. I'm joined today by Melissa's Mailing Solutions expert, Peter Hanfield. Thank you for joining us today, Peter. Before we get started, I want to encourage you to type your questions in the chat box at any time during the presentation. We'll get to as many of your questions as we can towards the end. Also, we are recording today's presentation, so look for that in your inbox tomorrow. And that's all I have for housekeeping items. So without further delay, here is Peter.
Thank you, Liz. Hi, I'm Peter Hanfield. I'm product manager of our Mailers Online software and our Mailers Plus 4. Today we're going to be talking about what's new with the USPS in 2008. We're going to be covering the new change of address requirements and informed delivery by the United States Postal Service. Part one, we're going to cover in the new regulations. The new regulations are requiring you now that each address list needs to be sent through change of address every 95 days prior to the postal statement finalization date. For these new regulations, they go for first-class mail, first-class package services, parcel select, and all marketing mail. If you're doing any kind of a mixed pre-sort mailing that's using both first class and marketing mail or doing a package service with parcel select, you are also subject to the new standards that we're going to talk about in this presentation. You might be asking why they're changing it. Well, it's intended to limit the bad addresses that are getting sent to the post office. It'll help eliminate the cost associated with hauling all the undeliverable addresses back to them. And also it takes a lot of time for them to sort all the mail that gets sent back with wrong addresses. What exactly is changing? It's the threshold for the amount of bad addresses. From now on, it's going to be 0.5% compared to what it is currently with the 30%. They're not going to just inspect random samples of your mailing. They're going to actually go through and scan every single piece that you have. And instead of going through and tabulating all the errors for the current year, they're going to now go over every 30 days. They're going to tabulate it for you. And they're also going to start charging you for any errors. Instead of from 7 cents, you're going to start to charge you 8 cents, which could drastically add up, especially with them checking every single piece. Some of the great benefits, though, of actually following through and with these changes is you'll be able to avoid fines associated with all the undeliverable mail, and of course, it will meet the move update requirements that they're putting in, so you'll get the postal discounts. And you'll make sure that you're actually reaching your customers because you'll have the latest data from the post office that provides you with the most accurate address. And it'll also significantly reduce the loss of time, effort, and money due to the undeliverable addresses. There's basically 2 exceptions that the post office is accepting for these new regulations. It's that if you use the alternative address format, which is like if you put in like postal customer, residential customer, rather than the person's name, or you could just put like occupant or householder or resident. But also you could also do Jane Doe or current resident. That's also accepted. The other exception is if you get your mailing list directly from the address and you submit it to the United States Postal Service to check, they'll actually make you exempt from this also. This is a long step to do, though, so it is a lot easier just to run it through NCOA and ACS. What the current process is using the Merlin machines. What it does is they take a couple samples of each mailing, usually from each tray, and they'll run it through their Merlin machine. What Merlin does is it'll checks the address for each either postcard or letter, whatever you're actually mailing, against the NCOA database, and then they'll send you a report based on that assessment. And over the year, they'll give you one final report for your complete mailing and then assess any penalties based on that. Now they're going to change it to the census assessment. What they're going to do is going to send it through the mail processing equipment, which is this big machine right here. And what it does, it's going to scan each mail piece and then run it against the NCOA database. Once it's done scanning all your information, it's going to actually upload it to their mail scorecard, which you can get. You can go visit the United States Postal Web Service and look at your scorecard, and it'll actually show you all the bad records, and it'll show you all the different moves and stuff like that. The post office has a pre-mailing update mailing address list before you mail and a post-mailing. They recommend that you do both of these. That way you're making sure that you have the latest data and everything is correct on the address so you avoid the penalty. It's in the post office's best interest that you don't get penalized, so they want to make sure that it's as easy as possible for you to run these processes. There's NCOA link, which is the National Change of Address, which you're just sending in your address to a service provider or running the address through the NCOA service yourself. We do that service here at Melissa. We also, the other one that they do for pre-mailing is NCOA link MPE, which is you're using the machine very similar to the one that I showed you in the picture before. It's at your shop. It's very rare that people have these machines. They're pretty expensive and they take up a lot of room. The post mailing that they recommend is ACS, which is the Address Correction Service, but they also have the Auxiliary Service endorsement too. But they prefer people to use ACS rather than the Auxiliary Service. The Auxiliary Service is pretty much outdated nowadays, and a lot of people use ACS. What the Auxiliary Service is you're pretty much printing on the endorsement on a mail piece. You're putting either address service requested, return service requested, change service requested, or temp return service requested. The ACS is actually broken down into 4 different components. You got the traditional, which will allow customers to mail letters, flats, or parcels. You'll receive an address correction in electric format using the ACS participation code, which you get from the United States Postal Code. Then we have one code ACS, which will allow you to mail the mailings for first class, marketing mail, and periodicals for both letters and flats to receive the electronic or automated address corrections through the intelligent mail barcode. And then we have full service, which uses the one code ACS infrastructure. But the great thing about this one is that it's free if you're doing full service mailing, which most people nowadays are, because you get the additional savings on pre-sorted mail. And then we also have intelligent mail package barcode, which is for parcel mailers using their intelligent mail package barcode. And then you'll receive an electronic correction using the mailer ID that's embedded in the barcodes. Here's an example of what the NCOA link MPE looks like. What it does is you'll either take a letter or a postcard or whatever you're mailing exactly, and then it reads the address block on there, and then if it's not correct, it sprays a new address on there and the barcode for it. The bad thing with this is it actually doesn't tell you that it sprayed it, so you don't know if it changed. So the next time you run it through, you're going to have it'd have to spray the same mail piece. So that's why we recommend that you really go through NCOA link rather than try to use one of those machines anyhow. It's because it's a lot cleaner, and you get the addresses back to you, so you don't constantly make the same mistakes on the address as you would with the other method. What the NCOA does is that we take the address and the person's name and then match it to the NCOA link database. And any addresses that or changes that come back will have a result code that'll tell you that the move changed, and it'll also put in the new address for you. We have a couple different products that'll do that for you, and I'll get to those in 1 minute. The problem to satisfy the move update requirements is over 40 million people change their address each year, and most don't submit for the change of address with the United States Postal Service. Well, one thing that you could do is just to make sure that if they do, that you do run it through the current change of address request, and that you also just match it against the official Postal Service formats of the street, address, apartment number, and make sure that you have the accurate city name and the zip code and +4. The products we have that'll help you do those is our mailers online, which also pre-sorts the mail too. So if you're doing first class or marketing mail, you'll be able to run this through our mailers online. We also have our Mailers +4 desktop software. If you'd rather than using an online solution, that you'd rather have a software at your location. That also does CAF certification and also pre-sorting as well. And also both the Mailers online and the Mailers +4 desktop software also have a deduping function also in there. And if you're a programmer and you just want to send your list through a web service, or if you want to just submit it regularly through our FTP, we also offer that service here also. Now that we covered all the new regulations and stuff, we're going to talk about their latest service that the post office is offering, informed delivery. What informed delivery is it pretty much scans your mail piece and sends the recipient a picture of it. It's based on your address. It's really easy to use and easy to set up. What it does, it'll integrate a hard copy mail of your digital marketing, provide you in multiple impressions and interactivity for your customers. One thing that we do when we send out a mail with the new informed delivery is we put in the barcode on there so that they can easily just click on it and it'll send them to our website. Also, you could send them coupons and stuff like that, and they could actually get it before they actually get their physical mail. And nothing replaces the tactical value of a hard copy mail, but USPS is trying to keep up with the times and make it so everybody can see their mail ahead of time. They have the technology, so why not make it available to the public? Some of the great benefits is that the email open rates are a lot higher than this and the industry average. It also gives the customer multiple impressions of the mail piece. It gives them also a digital access, a way to reach your customers digitally by merely knowing their physical address. And it's also a great way for campaign data to insight to optimize marketing spending. How does it actually work? Well, what it is the customer signs up on the USPS.com website. Mail images during the processing get taken. Then it matches to the delivery points. It sends out those mail pieces, notifies the emailed notification and send an email to the user, and the user receives the mail piece. So not only will they get the physical mail, but before that, I usually get the email on mine about 6:30 a.m. So it's way before I get our mail, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I get to see what exactly is in our mail. Some of the customers that they have that are using this are saying how easy it is to use. It's nice being able to see what exactly is getting sent to them while they're away, especially when you're on vacation and you're expecting something. You could always, if you see something important in the mail, you could always ask someone to get your mail for you, so it's not sitting in the mailbox. And it's really easy to use. So far, the user response rate has been really great with the post office. Over 95% are satisfied with informed delivery, and they view their notifications every day or almost every day. And over 96% actually recommend it. Most people, looks like, are viewing it on their mobile devices. The post office does provide an app for it. And you could also view it on your laptop or your tablet too. It looks like most people actually look at it first thing when it comes in the morning around 6:30 in the morning. It's 88% in the morning, 11% in the afternoon, and 1% in the evening. Currently, right now, there are about 35 mailers that have tested it to date, but they have done about 250 campaigns completed across different industries. Many of these mailers return and conduct additional campaigns. Currently, there's approximately 7.5 million people registered. This number was taken actually from, I believe, October of 2017. The latest numbers I've heard are actually closer to 25 to 30 million people are actually using this service. So more and more, they're getting people to sign up for this service. And the average result on this is they're getting about 70% average email open rates, which is way higher than any email rates currently out there. And some of the derived actions are an informed delivery subscriber receives their daily information delivered mail notification. She sees a coupon in there, like I mentioned earlier, for $10 off a brand new dress. Well, rather than waiting to get the coupon, she can actually just print up the mail piece that she has right there and see, and then take it to the store and get the dress before she even gets her new mail. So let's cut your customers see any kind of coupons or offerings that you're giving them before they actually get the physical mail piece. To participate, all you would have to do is to plan your campaign. Determine the type of campaign to conduct and create your mailing list. Prepare the mailing list. Provide mailing details to the United States Postal Service, such as the campaign start and end dates, the mailer ID, custom images, and a URL. Then you'll take your mailing to the post office, and from there you'll be able to analyze and gather insights. You can view the results of your campaign, including the open rate and the number of click-throughs through it. Here's a sample of what it looks like. This sample is actually pretty bad because they currently are only in black and white, but they are working on getting the color printers to all the mailing post offices. All the SCFs will soon have the color printers, so they'll look a lot better. Here's what it looks like on the website. If you go to your informed delivery dashboard, so this person got a credit card offer, it looks like, and they also got some sort of a bill or something like that also. And you'll be able to log on there to see that. If you want to do an interactive campaign, the post office is very helpful in making that easy for you. You can just send them an email to these email addresses: USPS Informed Delivery edoc@usps.com. And it'll also use the, when you do your mailing, you'll want to make sure that you're using mail.dat version 17.2. And you'll need to at least submit it at least 2 days prior to the campaign. And it's also usually a good idea if you send your, whatever your mail piece to the post office beforehand. That way they could see it and give you any suggestions that they might have to make it a little better for you. Once you have the mailer campaign portal, you can log on there into the and select the Informed Delivery Mailer and Campaign portal. So you could actually do this without the post office, as you'll be able to go into their portal and actually submit this without actually having to email them. But I recommend, and so do they, that you go ahead and email them to take care of it. That way you can make sure everything's perfect with your campaign. Once you get the hang of it, then maybe switch to the portal and use that. If you want to learn more about this, you can go to the United States Postal Service.com, Informed Delivery Campaigns. There you can review the benefits and features and learn about the campaign creation and more. Also, you can download the latest user and household data file, view an interactive video on informed delivery, and user testimonials. The post office, if you see any of your customers that are, well, it's a good idea to actually recommend that they sign up for this. They could actually just do it at the post office. There's a form to fill out. Also, they have a form online, I believe, too, that a customer can fill out. That way they can receive the emails each day. Should you have any other questions or anything like that, the post office is very helpful, like I said, and they will definitely be able to assist you in completing the form at USPS, informed delivery campaigns at USPS.gov. I just wanted to say thanks again to the post office. They did provide us with a lot of this information for this webinar. Now I'll go ahead and turn this over to Liz with any questions that you might have.
Thanks, Peter. That was great. We did have a lot of questions. Oh, I'm still on the slide. Let's put your information up there. There you go. We had a couple questions. Our first one, when does move update assessment start?
It was actually supposed to start in March, but they went ahead and pushed it back till April. About the middle of April, they're going to start it.
Okay, great. And then also, someone had mentioned, it wasn't necessarily a question, but a comment about the USPS not validating the change of addresses. Could you speak a little bit to that and getting assessed a fee and things like that?
Well, pretty much now, you want to make sure that you're running your list through NCOA and doing the post mailing move update method, the ACS. What they'll actually do in that, they'll actually still send you a report on anything that got changed after the NCOA. They'll actually be able to go online and you'll be able to look at your scorecard and actually see the different changes that actually went into effect on the mailing.
Great. Also, can you speak a little bit more to how the USPS will help with the interactive campaigns? Can you touch on that again?
I don't have the specifics, but if you contact them, they will actually go through and pretty much walk you through the step. They want to get as many people as possible using this. They think it's a great, innovative way. It's pretty much going to be the future of mailing. Their goal is to pretty much have everybody signed up with informed delivery and all mailers to start using it and taking advantage of it. But if you contact them, I'll go ahead and bring up the slide for their information again. Oh, it's at USPS.com/informed delivery campaigns. There they'll actually be able to assist you. Or if you go to your local post office, they'll be able to help you out and get you started in contact with the right person.
Wonderful. And I just wanted to send a quick reminder to everyone. We will be sending out a recording of today's presentation in case you missed anything. I will also send a PDF of the slides. So no worries on that. One more question. I think we have time for just one more. Can you speak a little bit more to Mailers Online and what that does?
Well, Mailers Online is our latest innovative product that will allow you to pre-sort your mail. We'll run it through NCOA and also be able to get your list back to you in a pre-sort order for both first class and marketing mail. It also has the ability to do deduping because you really don't want to be sending multiples to the same person.
Perfect. Thanks so much, everyone, for continuing to send your questions. We have just a little bit more time, so I'll go ahead and take one or two more questions. And then anything that doesn't get answered, please feel free to send Peter an email. We'll put his information back up on the screen, and he'll personally reach out to you to answer all your continued questions. So our last one, can you please tell us why the USPS recommends both NCOA and ACS?
They recommend that you do both just because there is a little bit of delay in getting the data to the NCOA providers. And also sometimes the ACS information, it's harder for them to correct it if they can't read the label correctly and stuff like that. So that's why they recommend both doing the pre and the post. Is that way you have the change of addresses beforehand, but if something changes between that time, then the ACS will get it. But if they can't read the label correctly, then the NCOA already has the correct information on there.
Great. And then to just go back to talking about the change of address and things like that, and standardization, do we have anything that will standardize addresses?
We have both the mailers online and our mailing software do standardize address too. They are both CAS certified by the post office. The nice thing with it is, especially with the mailers online, is that when it does the NCOA check, it does also run it through CAS, which standardizes all the addresses to the format the post office wants. And it also, currently we're doing a promotion on it where you can run up to 20,000 records through it for free, which is a pretty good deal, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a big amount for sure. Okay, I think we have time for just one last question. Is informed delivery free for companies and mailers?
Yes, informed delivery is completely free. I strongly recommend that even if you aren't doing the campaign yourself, that you actually do sign up for it. I find that I do check that email as soon as it gets in every day. I like to know what's in my mailbox.
Yeah, 70% open rate is very, very high for email. So that's great. Okay, we do want to keep this short and sweet to be respectful of everyone's time. So like I said, if you have any other questions, please feel free to email Peter directly. And we will download this chat history after the presentation and personally reach out to you guys to answer your questions if they were not touched on in this webinar. So, and this is a webinar series, as I mentioned in the beginning, so we will be having 2 more presentations throughout the year to keep you guys updated on what is happening with the USPS in 2018. So just wanted to say thanks again to Peter for a great presentation, and thank you most of all to you guys for joining us. Hope you all have a beautiful day and happy Pi Day.